Over the last few weeks, we've seen God move in incredible ways in India. Currently, our church is partnered with FAM, which is an organization for all mankind movements, and they are trying to see the gospel spread all throughout India and some places of Southeast Asia. Despite the risk of persecution, of alienment from their families, or actual physical persecution, beatings, maybe even being killed or jailed, there's a heightened intensity to go and tell their neighbor. And honestly, that's probably the greatest way the gospel is spreading, is each person is taking personal ownership to go and spread the gospel to their neighbors, to their families, to their friends. And we are seeing the kingdom and the gospel move in incredible and fast ways.
I have loved seeing God move on this trip in just such miraculous ways. One of the things that I just came away so affirmed was our partnership with FAM. They are doing such incredible work, and it's person to person. They call it discipleship to discipleship. And they are truly discipling people to follow Jesus and look like Jesus. And they also are making more disciples. And so they're teaching those people how to make disciples themselves. And so it is such a leadership culture there of just raising up leaders and teaching them by modeling things for them. And so I've just loved that God is using what we are giving here at Waymaker Church to invest in that organization called FAM. And this trip was really more about us seeing the church, these story groups develop into churches. So we got to see 3 different churches launched. In that, we also got to see people come to know Jesus.
I've been in sports outreach and been serving for more than 10 years. And I've been doing different activities with the children, like going every day into the slums and meet the children. I use the game of soccer to reach out into their families and speak to their families and get to know what they are going through.
Hey there, Waymaker Church. My name is Brian Bundrick. This is my wife, Libby. We have 3 kids, Declan, Ginny, and Eben. We moved here a few years ago to share the love of Jesus with Thai people. We do that primarily through Beginnings Foundation, who reaches out to women and girls who've been affected by exploitation in the sex industry here in Thailand.
The gospel goes out here in Thailand in some unique ways that are different than the States. It is a very collective society, and so community here is the way that the gospel goes out primarily. Really, it's showing faithfulness over time to your neighbors, to your coworkers, to your friends, in those kind of natural community-based ways. Unique to Thai culture is it is heavily influenced by Buddhism, which is the primary religion here. And so Buddhism teaches that life is suffering. They also believe in reincarnation. And so if you can imagine the women and girls that we come in contact with that have been affected by exploitation, don't believe or really have hope in happiness for this life. And so when we bring the gospel to people here, we really want the women and girls especially to understand that they have worth, that Jesus loves them, and that even despite sufferings and even despite extreme hardship, the Lord gives us joy.
And so on behalf of our family here in Thailand, we thank you so much, Waymaker Church, for supporting us and being a part of the gospel going out here in Thailand and into the rest of the world.
Hey Waymaker, Nick Cope here. I hope you are doing well. I just wanted to spend just a minute and tell you how the gospel is going out right here where we live. You know, Bethany and I, we've been in the Middle East 10 years now, crazy. and we've been in 3 Muslim majority countries and ministered in many more. And we've seen 2 big ways the gospel goes out where we are. One is through prayer. Most Muslims, if they're going to come to faith, they're going to come through encountering God. So it's going to be through a miracle or a healing or some sort of huge encounter, maybe a dream or a vision of Jesus. And so we like to get out there on the streets, if we're visiting people in their houses, and pray for them. And God's done incredible things, healings and miracles that have opened people's minds, eyes, and hearts to then believe. So that's one easy way. Another one is to share our testimonies. You know, most people here in this region of the world, they've never met a follower of Jesus. So we have a story of life change that they've never heard. We can share how Jesus has changed our life and then turn it around on them and say, hey, have you ever had a story like this? Has this ever happened to you? Has Jesus ever changed your life like this? And if they're being honest, they're gonna say no. So it gives us an opportunity then to share more about Jesus, maybe some Jesus stories that would be appropriate to their life situation, and then ask them 2 questions that are so important. One, hey, you want to hear more about this? What do you think if we get together and learn more about Jesus? And 2, hey, who else do you know? Maybe friends, neighbors, coworkers, relatives that might be interested as well. You know, because what's better than sharing the gospel with one person, 2 people, or 3 or more, right? And that gets us one step closer to, if they believe, them having a community of faith and starting a church in a new area. So that's what we're doing. That's some of the ways the gospel is going out where we're at. And I hope that you can do the same in Virginia. Get out there, pray for people, expecting people to encounter God through your prayers and sharing your testimony of how Jesus has changed your life.
Hola amigos de Waymaker.Church, mi nombre es Jorge Luis, staff de Sports Outreach aquí en República Dominicana. Actualmente vivo en Santo Domingo junto a mi esposa Nicole, quien es el staff de Young Life aquí en la República Dominicana. Actualmente estamos sirviendo en algunas academias de béisbol cercanas a nosotros, donde estamos sirviendo, estamos compartiendo el evangelio con los chicos y los entrenadores, estamos proveyendo a ellos de equipos de béisbol como guantes, bates, bolas. Estamos muy agradecidos con Dios por todas las cosas que Él nos ha permitido lograr. Desde el año pasado hasta ahora hemos logrado involucrar alrededor de 15 chicos en riesgo de delinquir, de caer en las drogas, del alcohol. Y creo que ese es el propósito de lo que hacemos, alcanzarle para el evangelio. Tenemos un estudio bíblico donde cada viernes compartimos la palabra de Dios con ellos, donde ellos tienen preguntas, donde ellos se expresan acerca de la fe en Jesús y de lo que ellos piensan. Estamos dando los pasos para tener una academia también de voleibol femenino, un espacio donde las chicas también puedan tener un tiempo en la palabra de Dios y también para practicar deporte. Estamos orando por eso. Quiero que te unan a nosotros también en esa misión. Queremos hacer esto sostenible en el tiempo, y para poder lograr eso necesitamos el apoyo de iglesias, amigos, necesitamos asociaciones, necesitamos que oren por nosotros también, porque es un gran trabajo que demanda mucho tiempo. Eso es lo que necesitamos apoyo financiero, equipos que puedan compartir con nosotros para los chicos. Y orar, necesitamos muchas oraciones. Y estamos súper emocionados para verles en este verano. Para nosotros es un placer compartir con ustedes y servir junto a ustedes. Bye.